The other raiders from all around Geelong.
No. Oh, yes, me. There you go, folks. Absolutely thrown. I thought they'd thrown to Grubby. My contract says it must be thrown straight back to me, so we'll get that right later on, Fano. Make sure you get it right next time. It is the 94.7 match of the day, and it's out at the Belmont Winter Resort. It's the Belmont Lions, and they're taking on the Cryer Devils in what should be a fantastic game, and I say that with the greatest sincerity, folks. Eric, what do you reckon about this one?
I reckon looking forward to a good game. Dick, both sides 2 wins and 6 losses for the season today, and that probably doesn't really mirror how some of the teams have been playing. Corio last week, they served it right up to Belpost Hill, and only a 3-goal loss to the top side. That's a pretty good performance. Belmont Lions, on the other hand, they've been disappointing. They rely on Canavan. They'll need further goal kickers. Brad Edwards back in the side probably is a bonus for them. Very good player, former assistant coach. And
actually, you coached his father playing, didn't you?
Oh, I did.
Who hasn't he coached? Who hasn't he coached?
He was your love child, wasn't he?
Oh, that was the accusation, yeah.
Oh,
but very good player, Brad Edwards. Having said that, if Corio maintained the form out last week...
There you go. What did you call him?
Bagger's son.
Oh, Bagger's son, fair enough.
So if Corio maintained last week's form, I reckon they could win this after.
Well, I reckon they were fantastic against North even till half-time. They give North a run for their money, and I think the fact that North are just, top or second top in the competition, they were able to draw away from it. The couple of times we've seen Corio, they've been really, really good. They've got a lot of young blokes in there. They've got a few experience like Barry O'Toole and Mark Stewart. So they've got a pretty good blend. And as I said before, I just don't think there's anyone except probably Inverleigh that's out of contention for that 5th spot. I think if Belmont lose today, they'll be out.
Yeah.
I reckon they'll go. But if Corio can keep going and improving, there's still a chance to finish in the top 5 as well.
Fair enough. Well, there you have it, folks, and that is the 94.7 match of the day. You can catch all the action from 1:30 this afternoon, and hopefully Eric will stick around for the whole game this week. I've got to have a crack at him, don't I, folks? And it's out at the Thompson. There he is. He'll be there all day. The Thompson Thunderdome. It's the local derby, they call it here in Geelong. The Tommy Tigers. They take on the neighbours, the East Geelong Eagles. Grubby, this will be a pretty reasonable game with both sides back in the winners list.
Well, I think both sides started off the year in pretty ordinary fashion with injuries and a few key players in pretty poor form. But both sides are getting it back together now. We've already spoke about East Geelong, the players they've got back. And I'd just like to comment on the form of Jackson McLeod at Thompson. He's been a shining light out there. He's probably equal best on the ground in the interleague game, and he's having a fantastic year. Look, it'll be a hard one to pick out there. I think I'm going to go for East because I saw him last week, and I just think with Primke and Bolton and Chalice back. Chalice, I think, on his day could be one of the best players in the competition, and once he gets a couple of games under his belt, look out, he'll be back to true form. I'm going to go for East.
Well, there you go, folks. Have it there. And so he's going to go for East Geelong, and which should be a pretty good encounter for the local derby. It's bottom versus top, and I certainly don't envy the Inverleigh Hawks taking on Belpost Hill. But I guess, Eric, the only consolation, it's at their home ground.
That's the only consolation, Dick. And Inverleigh, as we both said, certainly the first half, and obviously from what Grubby said, the whole of the game last week, very disappointing. When they did get the ball forward early, they just didn't know really what to do with it, couldn't convert opportunities at all. Belpost Hill, on the other hand, probably their worst performance last week, to only defeat Corio by 3 or 4 goals. Having said that, they're a powerhouse side, and I would think they'll certainly build on their percentage this afternoon.
What do you reckon, Grubby? How far, Belpost Hill?
Oh, look,
could be a slaughter.
Yeah, it will be, but I'd like to ask you a question, Eric. They keep saying that Corio played a great game against Belpost Hill. It was only 3 goals, but they did kick about 8 in the last quarter. Do you reckon that Belpost took the foot off the pedal a little bit? They might have had to a little bit, surely. Yeah,
well, I think based on Corio's performance at North Geelong, where they ran out of steam, they came home very well last week. It's a chalk and cheese thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It makes you wonder.
All right, well, it's up at the Quacker Dome, the other one. It's a big one, this one. Don't worry about that, the way Geelong West are playing, and the boys from the Quacker Dome getting in a bit of form. The Werribee Central's Centurions, and they're taking on the Geelong West Tutors. Grubby, your mob against the Tutors, and they're improved side now, the Tutors.
Well, they have, and we've seen them on one occasion. I spoke to Nick Washington last week at the Colts game down at West, and he's very, very confident. I basically spoke to him about the fact that if they could beat Belmont, which they did, and then beat Werribee, I don't think they'll beat Belpost next week. They're a real chance to finish in the top 3 or 4 as well. Werribee, on the other hand, last week, well, from all reports, and I've run into a few people at the footy, they put up an absolute load of rubbish, garbage football. And the coach was quoted as, well, I won't say what he said, but he was very, very upset. The spectators were upset. They just, and that's probably not trying to take too much away from Anarchy, but they better get their heads down, their bums up, and play a little bit better football. If they play their best at home, I'll go for them. But if they dish up that rubbish they dished up on Saturday, they'll get beat again.
Well, there you go, folks. Something like Grubby being a little bit controversial. Hops right into it. Out at the Keith Barclay Oval, another big game coming up with Anarchy now back inside the final five. This game is a massive game for both clubs. The North Geelong Magpies, they're just travelling along very, very nicely every week, and they take on their old nemesis, the Anarchy Roos. And before we throw to Eric and talk about that game, Toddy Elsey, yes, the nephew, we haven't spoken about him for a while. Toddy plays his 100th game for the Magpies this afternoon, so a fantastic effort, Toddy, and you've been great. I've always been proud of you from the day you were born, mate, so well done to get that great achievement at the Magpies. Fantastic indeed.
Ones or twos?
No, he's in the twos at the moment, yeah, and kicking about 5 or 6 every week. So he's a magnificent shot for goal. Is our Toddy, don't you worry about that. Eric, who's going to win?
An interesting game, Dick. I think North will win, but it might be a lot closer than people think. North, 7 wins, 1 loss. Anarchy, 5 wins, 3 losses. And North only really got home last week with a powerful second half at Winchelsea, 12 goals to 5, and that shows what a really good side they are. Having said that, Anarchy with a fantastic win last week over Werribee to really, I think, prove their credibility as a potential final side. They have to win a game like against the likes of North Geelong. So that if that's going to be the case, they're going to have to play really, really well. But by gee, Doggy Ryan, when the chips are down, he gets those North boys playing pretty well, and they've played some great second halves this year.
They sure do, yeah. Do you think the Magpies will be pretty good? No problem?
I think Magpies will do it easy, but I just reckon they're going to have to try and find someone to cover Sam Clark. He was just building up and been playing some really good footy and got injured, so bad luck to Sam, but obviously now there's an opportunity, possibly Blake Miller to come back in, but they need maybe Toddy Elsey to come back in.
Well, you never know. Toddy's playing all right in the two, so I'd love to see him back in there on the side, but we'll have to wait and see what Doggy thinks about it.
The other thing, Grubby, Fitzsimmons, Key, Hardham and Hutchison, they're now starting to show some consistent form.
Oh, and, they are.
They're in some areas, they cover a little bit for the other fella that you were speaking about.
Oh, yeah, Clarkie, yeah, they probably do. I reckon Dick's on the wrong tram there. I think he said earlier that Fitzsimmons will have polled a lot of votes in the Whitley. Well, I tell you what, he played some unbelievable games last year and didn't poll that well.
I don't like him, maybe.
Well, he doesn't seem to have a go at them, so they must. Maybe they just get it wrong now and again.
You never know. No, umpires wouldn't be like that. And speaking of umpires, that takes care of all the games on this afternoon. A big tribute today. Just want to pay to Craig McMillan. He's umpiring the St Mary's and South Farland game out at West Candinia. And Craig is playing his thousands game, or umpiring his thousands game with the 2 white flags. So, Craig, it's a magnificent achievement, mate. I'm sure your family and clubs and everybody in the Umpires League are very proud of it. Doesn't matter what league you're in, it's all part of one family when it comes to the Umpires League. And congratulations from everybody here at the Footy Show. And a quick happy birthday to my 2 boys. I've got one who's turning 40 today. It's hard to believe, folks. I don't look that old, do I? And Paul's 40 years of age, and Simon's 38
Same age
last
as me.
week. Hey, there you go. 2 strapping young lads they are too. So happy birthday, boys, and from Mum and I, very proud of you. No, they look a lot better than him, I got to tell you.
We got any greetings to give?
Well, you have to get your Cheerios up to date, you blokes.
God.
Oh, well, hang on. We'll think of one in a minute.
Okay. Don't forget to tune in to 94.7 The Pulse for the big game this afternoon, and we'll catch you all again next Saturday morning. Enjoy your footy this afternoon. Hope your team wins. Stick around for Darryl and the boys with the footy.
Readers from all around Geelong, I'm here to tell you how football is strong.